What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Small Lake City podcast. I am your host, Erik Nilsson, and this week we're going to do a pretty different direction of things. So I was actually hosted on a podcast called Utah Daily a little while ago and wanted to upload the episode that I recorded there here as well. It's an interesting perspective of having me on the other side of the interview and hearing more about me. So I do get into detail about growing up in Salt Lake, my van life trip, it's starting the podcast, the motivation for that, and just a little bit of knowledge I've gotten along the way. So a little bit different, but also a chance to get to know me better. Skylar Byttendorf, the host of Utah Daily, was gracious to have me on there. So definitely go follow that and listen if you want to hear some more cool stories about cool people in Salt Lake. But otherwise, yeah, enjoy hearing a little bit more about me. This one is a little bit shorter too, so it's a little bit more digestible. But yeah, hope you all enjoy.
I like it.
Open book. Most things I've shared on the podcast already. Like it's funny because I'll see people and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know like this. Or, like just like know weird details about me for people like I've never met.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, that's right. Podcast. I told people this voluntarily.
Yeah.
That is on me.
I've had the same.
Like it's never like anything bad, but it's just always like little interesting details.
Okay, here we go.
Let's do it.
Welcome everybody to Utah Daily, the podcast where we interview the doers, thinkers, and achievers of Utah. My name is Skylar Byttendorf. I'm a podcast host, entrepreneur, and just overall curious guy about who's in Utah, what they're doing, and what's being built here in Utah. Today, I have Erik Nilsson in the studio with me today, and we're going to have a little chat about his podcast and things he's doing in Utah. So, Erik, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Definitely, Skylar. Stoked to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, anytime. So, you started a podcast called Small Lake City.
Correct.
Is it about California, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's about California, especially the East Coast. No, yeah, right. Definitely all about all things Salt Lake City. Like, I mean, as you probably know, and most people who are from here know the term Small Lake City. I mean, if you run into someone at Trader Joe's union from high school, this coworker's dating your cousin, it's this feeling of this big-ish city, but also feels so small at the same time, and highlighting a lot of the cool people that are doing cool stuff.
Awesome. So how long ago did you start Small Lake City?
I mean, the idea was about like 2 or 3-ish years ago. I started kind of kicking it around and thought about it, but recorded the first episode July last year and released the first episode October 20th last year.
Awesome. And what's been the response so far from people?
I mean, it's been really good and been accepted pretty strongly. It's been fun to see how much people really gravitate towards people that are doing really cool things, because there's a lot of people who you look around Salt Lake and you see these cranes in the sky, you see these buildings coming together, you see these economic growth, you see these companies being built, but a lot of the time you don't see who's doing what behind the scenes. And so it's fun to highlight a lot of these people, hear their stories especially. A lot of them are very inspiring, a lot of really cool people with a lot of really interesting backgrounds. I mean, a lot of people who homegrown in Utah and Salt Lake City and building their own business, enterprise, brand, whatever it might be. But then there's also a lot of people that are bringing so much talent and so much experience into the city and surrounding areas to really make it a better place, and them falling in love with everything that Utah and Salt Lake is and making them stay and becoming residents and Small Lake citizens for life.
Have you been blown away by any of the guests you have? I've interviewed some people. I'm like, I had no idea this type of person was even like within 10 miles of me.
Yeah, I mean, it happens so much is the surprising thing for me, because when I first started, a lot of it was with my own network, reaching out to the first people I know that had done things, and it's kind of just like chipping away at this rabbit hole of people. And for example, one that I've found myself deep in this rabbit hole is like the art community in Utah, because I have one of my really good friends growing up is a professional, fine artist, professionally trained. And so I had him on, John Darley. But then as I started meeting more, I realized like the art scene in Utah, punches above its weight for everything that they're able to accomplish. But then understanding more of that dynamic to the point where I interviewed a guy by the name of Micah Christensen, who is a 4th generation art dealer in Utah, works as one of the 3 kind of owners of Anthony's Fine Arts and Antiques down on 2nd South and 5th East in Salt Lake. But if you want to buy like real art or want to sell real art or understand real art, he is the one that understands it all, not only like from a worldwide perspective, but also from Utah. He wrote a book. It's essentially like an anthology of Utah artists, and it contributed so much to it that he knows everyone and everyone knows him. And if you want to sell art to someone real, you have to go through him. So it's these little things that you don't even know exist, and all of a sudden you start scratching at it, and then you find yourself down this rabbit hole. You're like, I didn't even know any of this existed, but I'm so glad to find out that it does.
Yeah. Was Small Lake City your first podcast?
Yeah. I never even really thought, like, there's no part of me that was like, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. It's time to figure out what the podcast is going to be. It really started as I had an idea and like kind of this like voice in the back of my head saying, hey, there's something more you need to be doing. I mean, I was working full time. I was playing a lot of video games with friends, spending time with friends, but there's always kind of this, I mean, let's call it like lack of fulfillment or something else that I feel like I needed. And I was listening to some like interview podcasts, and it was fun to get to know a lot of the people that, I mean, I had seen around the world. I mean, one of the podcasts that probably, I guess, inspired me the most was Armchair Expert. Because I mean, Dax Shepard sitting down with people and just having normal conversations, and you get to know these people that you would deem as like famous, but you really don't understand what makes them tick, what motivates them, who they are, what they are as a real person. And then as I thought about that, I was like, there's so many people in Salt Lake that are similar, that like are doing so many great things, but we don't know who they are or like why they do what they do. And so then, I mean, it was just kind of like kicking the ball down the field of like, well, if I did, what would the outline look like? And if I did, who would the guests be? And then if I did, what would branding? And little by little, I got to this point where it's like, all right, like, I mean, for lack of a better term, like shit or get off the toilet. Like it's either you're going to do this or you have to put this idea completely away. And so put it on pause for a little bit to go travel for 6 months around the country with the idea that I was going to find this perfect place, become completely enamored with it. That was going to be my new home. But at the end of the day, what happened was I just became more appreciative and loving of Salt Lake. So came back, and then having this idea that I once put on the shelf, it's like, okay, it's time to really like hit the gas on this and really see what it can become.
Yeah. Well, we might just switch gears here completely, because it sounds like you've interviewed a lot of cool people. You've learned a lot of cool things. Have you ever been interviewed on your own show? Probably not.
No, that's actually something that comes up semi-frequently, and I'm kind of waiting for the right time and also trying to figure out the right person to have. I have a couple ideas, but yeah, it's definitely an idea in motion, but I haven't fully planned that one out yet.
Well, I'm just going to start getting to know you right here then.
Please.
And if people want to know more about you, you can just send them to this episode.
Oh, exactly.
Maybe you can even post this on yours. I have people sometimes want to do that. But okay, let's go from the roots. Where did Erik grow up?
So born and raised Salt Lake City, Utah, up on North Cliff Drive up in the avenues. Mm-hmm. One of 3 kids. I was the baby of the bunch, grew up there, and then parents split up, moved down to like kind of like Yellcrest area, and kind of got to know a lot of people around there. I mean, very typical Utah upbringing. I mean, skiing in the winters, water skiing in the summers, down to Lake Powell. Yeah, very, very typical from that perspective. But then kind of grew up, and I realized as I kind of went through, I mean, let's call it like the maturing time of life of like middle school, high school, and really trying to find your identity. I was really this kind of like jack of all trades. Like I had my core friends, but I had all of these other friends. Like I played lacrosse in high school, so I had like my like jock, like sport friends. And then I had core friends that lived in my neighborhood with me. I had like the kind of like more like grungy or like punk or like almost like gothic friends that I would still hang out with. And we would go, I mean, listen to music and do stupid stuff. And then I would have, I was in the chess club. I was in the math club. Like I was just all of these different things, but it made me have like all of these friends. But like also it's part of my nature because I'm just like a very curious person. And like if I could like draw out the perfect life, I would totally be this cat of 9 lives and picking all of these different things and all these experiences. But unfortunately, that's not how life works. And so, yeah, I had this like, I mean, great experience in high school and great experience in Utah. Did a 2-year mission in Washington, Spanish speaking, up in like the eastern side where all your favorite fruits are grown and picked and distributed from there. Came back, went to the University of Utah, studied finance for 4 years, then moved up to Seattle for 4 years, worked up there, loved the Pacific Northwest, loved everything Seattle, learned a lot about who I was and who I wanted from there, and then came back with a fresh perspective because, I mean, Utah, especially Salt Lake, is the ultimate like boomerang city in the world. Mm-hmm. And especially growing up, you see these people leave and you're like, oh, they did it. Like, oh my gosh, like good for them. And then all of a sudden they come back like, what? No, you got away. Why did you come back? And then me being one of those people and talking to so many of those people, you really do understand why. I mean, the proximity to the outdoors, the cleanliness of the city, the economic optimism, the niceness of the people, the centrality of the geography of Salt Lake, having an international airport. I mean, the list goes on of what makes this place so great. I mean, it's not perfect. There's always going to be issues, but it was fun to kind of understand all of that and have this foundation that truly made me appreciate it.
Yeah, sounds like there's a lot of reasons why you enjoy Utah. One of them being the outdoors. You sound very outdoorsy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite outdoor activity, or maybe a handful?
Oh,
What do you do?
well, it's funny you mentioned that because last year I had to put a hard stop on a lot of my hobbies because I realized,
Man, why?
because I don't have time for all of them was the main thing.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I kind of had this come to Jesus moment last year. I was like, all right, we can't do mountain biking, road biking, golf, trail running. I mean, yada, like the list goes on.
And build a podcast.
And build a
have a
podcast.
social life. And
Exactly. And so I was like, all right, we can pick two. And so I picked golf and running because golf aligns with all of my values in life. It's competitive, but it also doesn't have to be competitive. It's with friends. It's outside. It's good time. Like you can be as serious or unserious as you want to. It's something that you can build, you can do forever. And then with running, I mean, I love spending time in the mountains. I mean, trail running, finding myself on the top of a mountain, but then also just like mentally just checking out for 20, 30, 40, 50 hour, 2 hours, whatever it might be, and just kind of some time with myself.
how'd that feel, kind of only picking two and letting everything else go?
It was hard, but then I also had kind of goals for both. So, and I realized if I didn't focus, then I would never have achieved them. Like for running, I really wanted to get into it because it was the first year I was like identified as a runner. Like before it was just like constant battle of like, yeah, I've got a race, but I'm not a runner. Like I don't love this. It's just something I'm doing. And I kind of was like, all right, fine. I'm a runner. I'll do this. Like ran, I think like 4 or 5 half marathons, did my first marathon down in St. George. So that took a lot of time to train for. And then with golf, I really wanted to, I have this group of high school friends that we all kind of realized like, hey, we're all helplessly addicted to golf. We're all back in Salt Lake. Like a lot of them have kids and are married. And so we started just golfing like every morning, probably like 2 to 4 mornings during the week, teeing off at 6, being done by like 8:30, go to work at 9. It's kind of a nice morning routine. And so a lot of really great reconnecting with them and like reconnecting these bonds, but then also just obsessed with this game and trying to get as good as I can, and as frustrating and as many headaches as it gives me.
Yeah, I need a sport or something outdoors to do that doesn't take all day, because I love skiing, snowboarding, and so when I go, it's like kind of an all day thing.
Yeah.
You know, wake up at 7:30, get back maybe 2, 3, sometimes like 4. So it's kind of the whole day. But I like how the golf for you is like you can do it in the morning and then you can go to work after, or you can do something else. So I feel like I need to find something like that. Do you ski or snowboard?
Oh yeah, I ski. I mean,
do you still do that?
I do. It's been kind of an interesting relationship with skiing because like I'm used to the skiing. I mean, especially in like high school and college, where I'm not going to go to 3rd or 4th period. I'm going to go up to Park City and go do some laps at the terrain park. And then now, like in college is the same thing, where I mean, done with class at like 10:30 or 11. Skis are already on my car. Go get some runs in, come back, do work, homework, whatever it might be. And then you change that to now where it's like, okay, I'm up at 7. I'm in line just off the exits to get to Big Cottonwood or Little Cottonwood. I wait for 2 hours. I get there. Oh, there isn't any parking. Like that sort of dynamic is so hard. Like, as if I wasn't from here, I mean, especially even comparing to like skiing in Seattle, where I remember when I went the first time, I was like, all right, I want to do this before I leave. They're like, cool, I'll pick you up at 6. I was like, what do you mean 6
a.m.?
Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, it's a 2-hour drive there. And then we ski all day and there's a 2-hour drive back. So we'll probably be back by 7. And like my mind was blown because I didn't understand that. Like I'm used to hopping in a car. 30 minutes later, we're there. 30 minutes, we're done. Don't have to ski all day and do that. And so if I didn't have this appreciation and an understanding of what it had been before, I'd probably love the way it is now. But it just becomes, there's so many other things that are taking up time in my life. It's kind of been the one that's gotten a little bit of the shaft, but still make time for it, especially like to spend time with friends.
Yeah, because you can have like your 2 main hobbies, but then you could still go mountain biking every once in a while, go skiing every once in a while. It's not like you're divorcing them and never seeing them again. It's just, hey, we're, dating on the side.
Exactly.
So, no, that's cool. You talked about chess. Are you like a chess master?
I go in and out of it. So there was a time, I remember when I was in the van, I downloaded like the chess.com app. So chess.com is like the ultimate, like it's so funny because it's this central thing within the chess world. And so when I was in the van, I was like, oh, like, I think I was listening to a podcast and they had talked about it. I think it actually might have been Armchair Expert. He had a grand chess master on. He was talking about chess.com ratings. I was like, what does this mean? So I download the app and I'm starting to do all these puzzles and playing in all like these tournaments and stuff. And I'll do a puzzle every now and then, but I would love for someone like, hey, do you want to play chess like once a week? We can just hang out and like eat or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that'd be sick, but not something I'm looking to spend a ton of energy in towards.
What I've thought about doing is having this podcast or maybe another podcast where as we're going, we're playing a game of chess.
Oh yeah, I've thought about that.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
But haven't done it yet?
It's almost like the Hot Ones, but like the Chess Ones podcast.
Yeah, because I've also thought about having just like different restaurant owners come in, bring their food, and we can eat their food, talk about it, promote them on the podcast, and then it's like, hey,
I know some people
get all this free food,
like
which
free
isn't the
meal.
point, but also it's like a huge benefit.
The benefits can sometimes be unintentional.
Yeah, it's an equal exchange of value. You promote them, they bring you some food, win-win.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like the ultimate bartering.
Yeah. So have you ever thought about starting other podcasts? It sounds like you've kind of thought about some different dynamics of doing it. Like, tell me about that.
Yeah. So like the blessing and I don't want to say curse, that's probably not the right one, but restriction, let's say, of like my podcast, Small Lake City, is there's a very specific TAM that I can, or like total addressable market that I can cover. I mean, Salt Lake City, people interested in Salt Lake City, surrounding areas. And so there's definitely part of me that hums and haws and still thinking about kind of like a general population or broad podcast that I could market. Cause like, again, like trying to grow this one is a little bit different of a battle than if I had like a generalized podcast that would be applicable to more people. So definitely something that I think about and brainstorm on, but nothing actionable yet.
Yeah, it sounds like you're creative. You like to think of new ideas and things to do. And
yeah, that's been, I mean, honestly, like leaning into like this creative part of me has been probably one of the most fulfilling parts of my life within the past like 2 or 3 years. Like last January, I started like a painting class because I had this creative itch and I didn't know where to take it, and I always wanted to paint. And so a friend of mine got me like a 10-week kind of like painting 101 class. And I mean, I think everybody has had like an experience in like school of some sort where it's like an art class where you're like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not really trying. I suck at this. Or someone tells you you're not creative. Don't do it. But then it's funny, once you become adult, you mature, you understand how you can get better at things. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I want to do this, but I want to try. And I remember there was a moment I was like, I finished one of my first paintings. I was like, wait, this isn't bad. Like I actually can do this. And so now that's been, again, I guess going back to hobbies and how they've come, has been one of my hobbies that I've leaned into a ton, especially in the winter where, I mean, I can't go run really because I'm a baby when it comes to snow and cold and inversion. So spending a lot of time painting and creating like works a whole different side of my brain than others. But yeah, definitely more of a creative mind than I've thought in the past, and leaning more into that and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool, like how much you're doing and want to do and how much you're creating. Because you also talked about traveling. Mm-hmm. Do you travel a lot still?
I try to, but like also there's so much, and I think a lot of people who are from Salt Lake can attest, like especially me growing up here, we didn't do a ton of like hikes around the valley. We didn't do a lot of like national parks, and a lot of that just has to do with like my family dynamic. And I mean, obviously my parents split up, so it's not like they were love spending time together and doing family trips and such. But now that I've come back, I'm like, oh, I never, like for example, I grew up in the Avenues, but I never once went up. I mean, even like hiking above there, like up on Dry Creek or up above City Creek, like I never really did any of that. And so then I moved back. I'm like, time for me to explore all these things that I didn't even really know were there, could appreciate, and be able to experience them now. So there's a lot of me that does want to experience so much of home, because there's a point when I realized when I came back, I was like, I know Washington and Oregon and have seen so much of that than I have of Utah, where I'm from. And so that's been kind of like my motivating factor, is really kind of getting into the nitty and gritty of Utah. But then also, I mean, I'm heading to Austin in a couple of weeks to go see a friend. Probably go up to the Pacific Northwest to visit my cousin up in Willamette Valley outside of Portland. So there's always, I'm always in for an adventure.
Yeah, I want to do a lot more road trips. I just bought a truck and want to get a rooftop tent and then just go on a bunch of road trips around Utah. Because like there's all these places in the world or around the United States I want to go, but I feel like I haven't really explored like where I live that much. Are there any places in Utah that you haven't been yet, or maybe have been, that are like everyone needs to go to these places?
I mean, it's hard to get away from kind of like the iconic places of Utah, because they are iconic for a reason. I mean, your Zions, your Arches, your Moab, your St. George, your Snow Canyons. I mean, all of these things are so, like, it almost seems like cliche, but at the same time, it gets that reputation because it is so great. Yeah. And so I feel like there's kind of like the breadth that you can understand, but then once you can understand that there's so much more depth to it, I think it is the best way to go. Because like a lot of people have been to like Moab and seen, Delicate Arch, but it's like, oh, have you been to Dead Horse Point? Have you been, all these areas around here that are also so beautiful and can do, but it's hard to like really explore that way. But I think the best way to do it is, like you said, like you have a truck, let's put a topper on there, let's put like a camper on the back.
I can't tell you how I'm excited to do that.
Like it is the best, like, because so many people I mean, the traditional way most people travel is, okay, I'm going to buy a flight. I'm going to fly here. We're going to stay in a place. We're going to come back. What you don't realize is like everything from A to B and then B to A is so much part of the experience. And like when I was in the van, like it was so fun to be like, oh, I can hear the accents change. I see the geography go from Rocky Mountains to Midwest to like Appalachian Mountains. And so it's so fun to understand what connects all of everything instead of just being like, oh, cool, I've been to New York. I've been to Miami. I've been to Dallas, Austin, Portland, San Francisco, whatever that might be. But you'd lack so much of the context of how to get there and everything in between.
There's this app called, I think it's called Road Trippy. Have you heard it? Yeah. So you put in where you're at and where you want to go, but it shows you all these cool little stops on the way. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had the app.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, and you can be like, well, I don't want to detour this much, but if it's like right off the exit, I'll do this. And there's so many cool things. Like, I mean, even in like central California, right at the beginning of Highway 1 on the north side, it's like and people probably see it, like Google if you want to, but like the hole in the tree where you can drive through the tree.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like that one. I mean, in Oregon, there's like sea lion caves, which is cool. But again, like right off the freeway. So there's like these little, like, they seem like kind of like kitschy tourist attractions. Yeah. But then you go and you're like, okay, actually, this is kind of cool. Yeah. I'm in. I'll take my $10. You win.
Right. And a lot of these places, like, have you done that where you just road trip all around, or were you mostly flying to these destinations?
I mean, I was in a van,
like one of those life vans?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like it would be technically classified as an RV, but it's, the same size as like a Sprinter van, just kind of a little bit more comfy.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk more about that then.
Please.
So was it your van? Did you build it?
Bought it. Me and my partner at the time, we were coming up on the end of a lease in an apartment building. We knew we didn't want to re-sign. Mm-hmm. We weren't for sure if we wanted to be in Utah. And so we're like, hey, what if we just rented a van or like bought a van and went and traveled the country for the rest of the year, 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever. And we're like, well, again, like the same thing as a podcast. It's like, oh, well, if we did, what would that look like? What would happen? And like, push come to shove, and why we picked the model we did, the Winnebago Echo, was it gave us the comfortability. We had the storage, and we didn't feel like we had to rough it too much.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if we did go get a Sprinter van and convert it, like we didn't have the time because we had to act faster than that. And I definitely didn't want to rely on someone else's craftsmanship, especially when insurance and a lot of like model builds isn't as nice as you'd like. And so being able to have that comfortability, mobility, and flexibility is what made it the best. But then, yeah, to your point, it's like, oh, cool. Like, here's a state park over here. Let's go check out that. Or like, oh, here's this BLM land. Let's go over here and kind of have this like loose road trip. But then the nice thing is about those road trips, it's like, oh, we have this plan. Let's deviate from the entire thing, take a hard left turn, go do something completely different. There is no restrictions. There are no like, promises or anything you have to make. Like there's certain times where we'll be like, oh, we have to be here because we have like family in Oregon we want to go see, or there's a half marathon we ran in Rhode Island that we should be to at this date. So we had like a couple loose dates we had to align with, but again, like the path to get there, completely up to us.
Yeah. And you did that for, did you say 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months. And how is that, not having like an actual apartment or house to live in? Like you're just always on the go. Like what about like, I don't know, showering, or what'd you do for food? And, and there's stores all over. Did you have a fridge in it?
Yeah. So we had, actually 2 fridges, actually 2 stoves. There's like there's an outdoor fridge, indoor fridge, Dang. Indoor stove, outdoor stove. Full bathroom if we needed it. But then also like you realize how many, amenities there are to you. Like before then I never stayed at like a campground where you pay and it's like, monitored and managed.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we'll stay there. Like there's a full shower. They're all really good and fine. But then also like one of the secrets of like van life that people do is everybody pretty much gets a membership to Planet Fitness, whether you work out or not, because you will always have a shower there. Mm-hmm. And there's usually one within 20 minutes of wherever you might be.
Yeah. So did you do that?
Yeah.
Planet Fitness.
lots of Planet Fitness. I have lots of opinions of Planet Fitnesses.
Okay. That's awesome. So I'm thinking about putting the rooftop tent on my truck and just loading it up with gear. I'll be able to fit my mountain bike, skis, hiking gear, whatever I want in it. What's your opinion or take on having like the F-150 with the rooftop tent versus having like a van?
It depends. And then like, that's the thing is like from like a class A RV that you think of like a tour bus compared to like a class B RV, which would be like your Sprinter van, to a class 3 is like a baby of the two together. And then you have, I mean, your trucks with your toppers, and you can have a pop-up tent on top. You can have a full built-out camper on the back. There's so many different ways to do it. Yeah. And it all depends on kind of the experience you want. And I didn't really realize that until I got out. I was like, oh, like I get this now, like the difference between having like an RV or a trailer or a van or a car and doing it all these different ways. But yeah, I mean, that way's great. I mean, you can go down to Moab, go stay in BLM land all day, every day, and you're taken care of. I mean, you can get a little camper stove and be set, have a cooler, be great. Or you can just say, we're going to go eat at restaurants and do it that way. Like there's so many different ways to make it happen. And there's so much creativity and flexibility to be able to do it the way that you want to.
Yeah. Cause I'm thinking like, okay, for food, probably just get a cooler. You can get ice almost at probably any gas station. Yep. And I feel like I've got plenty of room to fit all the gear and everything I want to bring. But I just don't know what I don't know. Yeah. You know, like are there any things that most people don't think of they need to bring that they probably should have with them when they're going to spend a week or two on the road?
I mean, I think to echo your point, like we live in a world where, I mean, as long as I have a smartphone, I can get anything I need to at any given point.
That's true.
And even if you're in like more of a rural area or a place where you might not have Uber Eats or Grubhub, there's still, I mean, gas stations, there's still grocery stores, there's still a lot of the places that we need and rely on, and that'll always be there for the most part. But I think I'd say key things to think about is like, how long do you want to be gone for? Like, do you want to be gone for a weekend? Do you want to be gone for a month, 2 months, 6 months? Like that'll change a lot of what you want with you and how to think about how much space that you need. But then also like where you want to stay. Because again, you could do, campsites at national parks, state parks, whatever that might be. You can stay on BLM land. You can stay on, there's like different apps where you can, stay in people's like backyards, wineries, churches, businesses, whatever. And so I think just kind of thinking about the experience you want to have and working back from there is the best way to go about it.
Okay. No, yeah, I like that. Did you stay more at campgrounds or on BLM land?
I'd say mostly Walmarts.
Really? Yeah, because you could stay overnight there, right? And they don't
Walmarts, Cracker Barrels, Cabela's are always welcomed.
Yeah.
Like I'd say that's like the one thing that people don't realize. It's like, It's not like every morning you wake up and there's this beautiful sunrise over this perfect mountain top and you just get like the birds are chirping and it's great. Like there's a lot of those, but there's also a lot of just
waking up to the freeway, cars, people.
Exactly. And you learn, and like truck stops, and like you kind of learn that that's just kind of part of it. And once you get used to it, it's fine, because you realize like once windows are closed, everything's locked, like you're still in the back of a van. It doesn't really matter where you are. But yeah, to your point, still like a lot of campsites, a lot of campsites. And it was fun too, because it's really hard to get campsites in a lot of places. Like I remember the first time I ran into it, I went to Big Sur. And I look on the app and there's not a single campsite available for the next like 3 months. And I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? And so I pull up to the welcome window and it's like, hey, I'm here. I don't know if you have any cancellations or people not show up. They're like, yeah, we got 3. You can have this one. We're like, awesome. Cool. And so that happened more often than not, when I would just show up and be like, hey, I'm here. Do you have any cancellations or no shows? Be like, yeah, cool. Here's your site. Pay us X amount and have a good one.
But you're like, it's already paid for.
You're like, it's like, if you're charging them, do you really need to charge me?
Right. That's awesome. No, that's so cool. Because this has been something I've wanted to do for so long, but I always feel like there's been one thing or another that stopped me. But coming in so I'm going to get married in like 3 or 4 months.
Congrats.
And so thank you. So our plan is to get one of those and just do a bunch of road trips. Probably just a bunch of weekend stuff. But at the same time, like I think it'd be fun to go just take a week off and go wherever we want.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I love about it, is the freedom, and and I've seen a lot of do you call them life vans?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I've seen a lot of those where the storage is really good. But like I still am really confident with the truck, because I know I can put the mountain bike in the back or really anything that I want. What about for like emergency gear or safety gear? Like, did you ever have like a satellite phone on you, or flare guns, or some way to contact people if you were out of service?
Not really. And thankfully, I was never truly like off grid, no service, no nothing. I mean, there were times where I was, but not for too long, because I was working remote the whole time.
Yeah.
So I always had to have some sort of, and I had like cellular hotspots, which is the main way to do it. So I always had to be within or like close proximity to cell service. So there wasn't ever any like huge, like, oh no, if this happens, this could go wrong. But then, the only time that ever became an issue was when went up to like Banff in Canada and slowly realized that their telecommunication infrastructure is 8 years behind ours.
Oh yeah.
And learned that it was not a place where I could just work remote and make it work, but more of a, let's take some days off and go enjoy Banff and Jasper and come back down.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad this popped up so we could talk about that.
Totally.
Before we go, this is all, we've talked a lot about the cool, the good, the happy stuff, the fun things you've done. What's been one of the like most challenging things you've been through in your life?
That's a great question. I would say, I'll preface it with this. So, we see a lot of statistics and facts and insights into kind of where people are right now. You hear about how lonely men are. You hear about the mental health crisis that we're going through, kids skyrocketing in ADHD and anxiety. And one thing I've realized with a lot of my friends is there's a lot of them and us that are getting to this point where we've kind of done everything that we were told to do. We went to school, we got married, they had kids, like all of these different things. We did these careers that would pay out, and then kind of getting to this point in early mid 30s being like, wait, none of this I did for me. I did just because I thought it was I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what I want. I don't know what the rest of my life looks like. And really taking that introspective view of saying, who am I? What do I want? What do I want to go through? And so for me, I'd say the thing that kicked that off was, something that happens a lot in Salt Lake, in Utah, as I went through my faith crisis, ended up, leaving the Mormon church and really going from kind of knowing how the rest of my life was going to look to what do I want and building back from there. And so kind of coming back to some of the earlier things I talked about, that's when I was like, oh, well, I have this itch of like feeling I need to do something else. What is that? Let's explore that. I have this itch of needing to do something more creative. What is that? What do I need to do? And I think the biggest thing that helped me kind of get through that and get through a lot of things is really just being action oriented, because I'm someone who I could get away with procrastinating in school. I'm someone who, has ADHD, and is really hard for me to just kind of like do things in general. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one thing that's helped me is just being really action oriented. And even if I didn't know where I was going to go or didn't know what the outcome was going to be, or confused, just knowing that if I took steps forward, I would either figure out, this is not what I need to do, come back and go try something else, or be like, cool, this is what I want, let's keep going down here. And so I think it's got me through a lot of dark times and a lot of dark places, but it's nice to know that, and it gives like that kind of confidence of like, I can do this, I can do a lot of things, I can do hard things, because it's not like they're never going to come back.
Yeah. Excuse me. That's something I went through something similar mm-hmm. with that, but it was wild to me looking back, like how many decisions I made for other people and not because it was truly what I wanted. It sounds like that's what you realized big time. Yeah. You feel like most people are making decisions and going down the conveyor belt path of high school, college, get married, get a job, buy a house. Like, do you feel like most people are kind of living on autopilot and what they see other people doing, or do you feel like people are actually making their own decisions?
I think we're entering an interesting time where, and one of my friends, Scott Paul, has called it like the awakening, of where we're realizing like everything we were promised didn't really come to the way it was. Like the American dream from like the boomers, like, oh yeah, cool, go to war, come back, buy a house, have kids, get a decent job, everything works out. And we were told that. And then all of a sudden we're like, hey, go to college, good job, do this. And we're like, okay, by the way, costs are skyrocketing. College educations aren't what we thought they were going to be, and way too expensive. Now you're in all of this debt and it's not really working, and like wages haven't grown nearly as much as costs have. So it's like, we almost felt like we're like, hey, we were promised this and it didn't work out. And so people are starting to say, well, if not this, then what? Mm-hmm. Which like I'm a big believer of, and I'm a very iconoclastic person where I like to challenge a lot of like things that have been done away just because they've been done away. But then also I think there's one theme that's kind of become, I guess for lack of a better term, a value that I've lived in my life. And it's something that's been on my Instagram. I don't think it's there anymore, but it said not an NPC. And so for people who don't know what an NPC is, it's something from video game culture called non-playable character. And there's a Ryan Reynolds movie that he did that kind of emulates what an NPC is. Yeah. And it's those people that like and for those who don't know, an NPC is someone who's like, it's part of just getting the game narrative progressed. They don't really have an actionable part, their background character, and just living.
They're just following the program.
Exactly. They're just following the program. And so for me, I took this point in life where I'm like, I'm not going to just follow along. I'm going to live intentionally. I'm going to be purposeful in everything that I do. I'm going to be present in everything that I do. Because if I don't, I know that I will wake up 1, 5, 10, 20 years from now, be like, why was never at the control of anything, and I'm in a situation I never agreed to. And the more that I've realized that, and then continue to iterate on what I want, what I need, and living to my values, that's what's brought a lot of the best things into my life.
I think that speaks to a lot of people, because I think a lot of people actually feel that and think those things deep down, but they don't say them like this. Like, a lot of people aren't willing to express, like, this is truly what I want or don't want, but because there's this pressure from family, from friends, seeing what your friends are doing, feeling like you have to follow that same path, or parents, go to college, when for some people it makes total sense to go to college, but for a lot of people that go, it doesn't.
Right.
And so I think that speaks to a lot of people. So what do you have, like, as we wrap up here, do you have some advice for someone who's really not sure what they want to do and they kind of feel like they're just following the conveyor belt path? Do you have any advice on how they can break out of that or start to make their own decisions and find out what they really want?
I would say just get out of the reactive mindset, because I have a couple friends, one in particular, who doesn't really think about, oh, well, where do you see yourself in 1, 5, 10 years? Which is such like a cliche question to ask, like that job interview. And where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, I don't know, hopefully have this job. But to really understand what decisions you were making on a daily basis, the actions that you were doing, and how that correlates to where you want to be in X amount of time. Like, if someone wants to be a millionaire, but you're not saving any money or investing or thinking about how to do it, you're never going to get there, no matter how much you do want that. So, and again, that comes back to doing the things that you want to do and drive towards the purpose in life that you want to have. And which also takes that extra step of saying, what do I actually want? And being actionable to get there. Because to your point, like you were saying, there's a lot of people that feel kind of trapped and stuck, and the only way out is some sort of action. Like, there's a quote from Brad Pitt I love in World War Z, where he's trapped in this apartment with this Hispanic family, and they're there for a night, and he's like, all right, we got to go. And he's like, no, we're safe here. He's like, no. Movimiento es vida. Movement is life. Like, we have to keep moving. If we stay here, we will die. And I'm the same way. Like, if I need to be actionable, I need to start moving forward. And so for those people who feel like they might feel that way, like, just do something. It could be the stupidest thing to do, but if you're doing something different, you're probably going to be finding different outcomes. Because I always tell people, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different outcome. So just making sure that you are, living intentionally of what you want, knowing what your values are, and making sure that you're spending your time, effort, and money according to those values, and making sure that your life is going in a way that you want it to, not doing what everybody else wants you to do or living for someone else. Because otherwise you never actually live to the life that you need and want to be happy.
I have nothing to add to that. That was beautiful. So true. Well, so thanks for that. I think that resonates a lot to me and my experience, and I think a lot of people that are listening. If they want to get to know you more or get in contact with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle, the Rockaflocka, there's a whole different story of why that name came to be that I'll cover when I do eventually get interviewed on my podcast, Small Lake City Podcast. If you want to find it on social, Small Lake Pod, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere you can. Podcast is called Small Lake City Podcast. Listen to wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. Episodes released weekly. And yeah, come hear more about me and some of the cool people doing cool stuff around Salt Lake.
Awesome. Well, Erik, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, Skylar. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Salt Lake City Podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, review, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends. And we'll catch you next week. We'll see you there.